Hello, and welcome to the online writing tutorials brought to you by NAIT Academic Support Services. Today we are talking about nouns and articles. Problems with articles account for some of the most common challenges that our students face, and this is especially true for students for whom English is a second language. But in order to understand articles, we first must look at nouns and understand a few things about nouns. Many of you may remember that nouns are words that name people, places, and things. We often separate nouns into regular and irregular nouns. Regular nouns can be made plural by adding an S. For example, the singular noun chair becomes chairs when it's a plural. Book becomes books, pencil becomes pencils. We refer to them as regular nouns because they follow this rule. The second type of noun is irregular. We call them irregular because they don't follow the rules. For example, the plural of child is not childs, it's children. The plural of man is men, and the plural of wife is wives. Deciding the plural of a noun may seem like an easy task, but some students become confused when they are confronted with words that they are unfamiliar with. It can also be a challenge for students for whom English is a second language. Nouns can also be classified as concrete or abstract. Concrete nouns are things that can be felt by your five senses. You can feel, see, taste, touch, or hear them. People, objects, animals, and places are generally concrete nouns. Abstract nouns are generally things that you cannot feel with your senses. They're not physical, and they're intangible. Things like ideas, emotions, feelings, states of being, conditions, actions, events, and qualities tend to be abstract. For example, gravity, love, hope, peace, running, jumping, these are all abstract nouns. The last way that we classify nouns is as countable or uncountable nouns. Most concrete nouns are countable. We call them countable nouns because they can be counted. In other words, we could say there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. For example, we could have 1 chair, 2 guitars, 3 books, 4 dogs. These are all countable nouns. This is significant because we can also, with countable nouns, make them into plurals. If they are regular nouns, we make the plural by adding an S. And if it's an irregular noun, we look up in the dictionary how to change it into its irregular plural form. Uncountable or non-count nouns are nouns that do not take a plural. They include most abstract nouns, nouns like information, love, history, research, and so on. They also include concrete nouns that are weighed or measured rather than counted. This type of concrete noun includes liquids and gases, for example, water and coffee, granular substances like flour, rice, sugar, solid commodities like wood, gold, silver, metal, energy and forces like electricity, heat, and magnetism, and also grouped concepts like money, food, fruit, and news. We don't have plurals for these uncountable nouns. For example, we wouldn't say, I have many researches to do for this course. We would say, there is a lot of research required for this course. We would not say, I ate a lot of rices for dinner last night. We would, however, say, I ate a lot of rice for dinner last night. So in general, countable nouns can be singular or plural. Uncountable nouns can only take the singular form. There are, of course, some exceptions. Some individual words are exceptions. For example, the word idea, ideas. This is an abstract noun, and yet it's a countable noun. Another exception is when you're buying or ordering some liquids, we treat the word as a countable plural. So you might say, I bought 2 waters, or can I please have 2 coffees? Even though the word water and coffee are both uncountable nouns. In this context, we treat them as countable. Some nouns can be either countable or uncountable depending on the context. For example, let's look at the word light. In the sentence, "The light from the sun is very bright," we're talking about it as a force of energy, and it's uncountable. In the second sentence, "The street had many lights to show the way," we're talking about individual light bulbs, and so they're countable. We could count that there are 6 lights along the street. Now that we have a good understanding of nouns, we can look at articles. First, we'll start with the indefinite articles a and an. We use the indefinite articles a and an with singular, countable nouns. These nouns also have to be indefinite. When we say indefinite, we mean we're talking about the noun in the general or non-specific sense. So we're not talking about a particular thing, we're talking about them in general. We use a before nouns that start with a consonant sound, and we use an before a vowel sound. So for example, the word book starts with a B, which is a consonant, so we'll use the indefinite article a before it. The word idea starts with a vowel, I, and so we'll use the indefinite article an before that word. It is important to note that we are looking for the consonant sound or the vowel sound, not specifically a consonant or a vowel. There are some words that start with a vowel, but it sounds like a consonant, or some words that start with a consonant, but it sounds like a vowel. So for example, the word university starts with a U, which is a vowel, but it has the y sound, and y is a consonant sound. So for the word university, we would use the indefinite article a. Likewise, we have the word hour. Hour starts with an H, and H is a consonant, but we start with the sound hour, which is a vowel sound. So we'll use the indefinite article an. The definite article is the word the. We use the before a specific noun. We call it a definite noun because it is specific or known to the audience. The noun can be singular or it could be plural, it could be countable or it could be uncountable. So we use the a lot in the English language. The important thing is that the audience should know which particular thing, which particular noun is being referred to given the context. So for example, if I say, "I read the book last night," you should know which book I'm talking about when I say the book. We also use the before superlatives or ordinals. Superlatives are words like best, most, happiest. So we'll use the definite article the before we have that superlative, which comes before the noun. So for example, we wouldn't say Disney World is a happiest place on earth. We would say it's the happiest place on earth. Likewise, we do the same with ordinals. Ordinals are numbers like first, second, third, fourth. Generally, we will add the definite article the when we're describing ordinals. So the first book that I've read this month, the third movie I've seen this month. We rarely use a before an ordinal. The biggest challenge when it comes to articles, especially for students for whom English is their second language, is when not to use an article before a noun. No article is used for uncountable nouns when we're talking about that noun in the general sense. We've already seen that the nouns research and information are abstract and therefore uncountable. When I'm using the word research, if I'm talking about it in general, I'm not talking about the specific research assignment, but I'm talking about research as an act that we do or an activity we engage in. We're using it in the general or non-specific sense of the word. In this case, we do not use any article before the word. So research is often difficult for students to master. Information is easy to find but difficult to evaluate. In both of these sentences, the word research and the word information are used in the general sense. They're uncountable nouns or non-count nouns, and so we do not use the definite article or the indefinite article before them. We also do not use any article before an indefinite, non-specific, or general plural noun. So for example, the sentence, she went to the store to buy apples, we're talking about an unidentified number of apples. We don't know how many apples. They're in the general sense. They're not talking about a specific type of apple that the audience would know. And so we do not use any article before the word apples. Quite often when we're using indefinite plural nouns, if we don't have a specific amount or number of these countable nouns, we will use the word some. So for example, she went to the store to buy some apples. We don't know how many. We don't use an article, we use that determiner, some, instead. We also do not need any article if there's another determiner used before that noun. So for example, if the noun is a possessive object, we do not need an article. So in the sentence, Angie's book is heavy, the noun is book, and we know it belongs to Angie. It's a possessive object of Angie's. Book is a singular, countable, definite noun in the sentence. We know which specific book it is, but it belongs to Angie. So it's a possessive object, so we don't need any article. We would never say, the Angie's book, or Angie's the book is heavy. It doesn't sound right. It's already determined by that possession. Likewise, if we use the possessive pronoun my in the sentence before the noun book, that shows that it is a definite noun, but we won't use any article. We would just say, my book is heavy. We wouldn't say, the my book or my the book is heavy. No article is needed when there is a definite determiner. So for example, some of the determiners are this, that, those, which. If we use one of these words before a noun, we do not need a definite article, the, or an indefinite article, a or an. So for example, the sentence, this book is heavy, we don't need the. That book is light. Which book are you looking at? In all of these sentences, we don't need an article before the noun. We also do not need any article when there's an indefinite determiner. So for example, any book can be checked out from the library. In this sentence, any is an indefinite determiner, and it replaces the need for a or an. Some books can be bought at the bookstore. Some is an indefinite determiner. We don't need any article. We hope that you have found this video helpful and informative. If you have any further questions, or if you need assistance on a paper, you can try these free services that are available for NAIT students. At any time of the day, you can ask questions online or submit a paper to be reviewed by professional writing tutors through eTutoring Alberta. You can submit your queries by visiting the website through the first link on this page, and students typically receive a response within 24 to 48 hours. You can also get assistance in person by attending a drop-in appointment with a peer writing tutor. If you visit the website from the second link, you will find the current schedule for drop-in appointments. Thank you again, and we wish you the best of luck on all your writing assignments.